and I'm with Michael Geary of Hellfish Haven. I'm Travis Oscar Michael Radio, and it's War. We are resistant. Michael, how are you doing?
Doing well this week. A nice little week off. Had to, take care of some sick kids. Mom and baby went to Chicago, came home, all sorts of sick. But the baby did really well on the flight, takeoff and landing. So that's, good news.
Well, that's good. That's good. Glad everybody's feeling better, and it's going to be 60 degrees tomorrow, so that'll make me feel good. My body
Yeah.
does so much better when it's warmer out. It's not even funny anymore. I'm getting old, Mike. I'm getting old.
All tight and, cramped up in the cold.
Right, right, right. So, what's up for tonight, man? What are we going to talk about?
Just wanted to talk about, I had it written down.
No problem.
I just want to talk about, during the holidays, especially like Valentine's Day, a lot of people, it can be difficult for them. The stress and pressure of the holiday can trigger, feelings of loneliness, isolation, depression, making it a critical time to focus on, mental health and well-being. Uh, these feelings can be compounded for veterans who may be struggling with transition back to civilian life or dealing with, aftermath of combat and trauma, and that we know the risk of suicide is higher for vets during the holidays. That's why it's important more than ever that we, take care of our community, make sure we come together, support one another, focus on, resilience like this podcast and self-care, and be more proactive by taking steps, taking care of ourselves, so that we can reduce the risk instead of, becoming a statistic. And we want to, promote, mental and emotional well-being, and push away that stigma that's been cast upon us for years.
Oh man, hang on a second. I'm gotten your buddy. Uh, can you forward him that link that I sent you so we can get him in?
Yep. Stand by.
But
I just
I
sent it
got
to him.
Althea. I got Althea from She Vets It. Michael join us. Althea's out of Dallas, Army veteran, and she's done it so well. There's Barbara. Happy Valentine's Day and birthday, Barbara. She's out of my area, actually, just down the street in Barbara, I believe. Got Stephen Joyce joining in, so the chat's popping. The chat's popping,
Steve
Michael.
is a fellow MP. He used to be a Marine before that, so he's got both of us on the side of him. Yeah,
So
he's a VSO now too.
no kidding.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm gonna do this again. We're gonna try this.
Meadows, I sent it again to him.
All right, no problem. But I put the look for people watching the stream. I put the link. If you click on the link, you can come into the stream with us if you want to and say hello in person on the stream. We're broadcasting worldwide. You know, we're getting this going. We're working this out, feeling this out. So we are resilient, right? And people are in distress. I want to actually. I'll be right back. I want to get something for you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna disappear for a minute.
Yeah, sure, I can take over. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Whether you're tuning in with Oscar Mike Radio or you're checking in with Hellfish Haven. For those that don't know Hellfish Haven, we have a location in Brighton, Mass. We've got two offices. One is a computer lab and your sport area. The second is a community center that has a couple of TVs mounted on the wall, video games, board games, card games, books, gentle yoga, just different things to be able to keep people occupied and keep them from being isolated. We're across the courtyard from a shelter from guys that were previously homeless.
I wanted to drop this in the
Welcome
chat.
back.
Yep. So I'm dropping a link in the chat. everybody. I just talked to on Saturday, Michael, an Army veteran, Gail Kavanaugh McCullough, and she is doing work with the Mass Behavioral Health Helpline. And I really wanted to share this tonight, Michael, because she's trying to get the word out there. This is a service through the Commonwealth of Massachusetts that if you're suffering through a hard time, regardless of what it is and who you are, you can call. I don't know if you can see that. I'll put it up. I'll put it in the chat actually. But the number is 833-773-2445. I have the URL in there, and I'm going to put the number in the chat right now. And Gail and I had a very cool conversation in Tewksbury this weekend. And the idea behind the Mass Helpline is you can you're going through a hard day, you're having stress in your life, you're having some kind of emotional, mental, or physical or psychological trauma. You can call this number 24/7, 365. This line is staffed by over 200 behavioral health specialists, masters and bachelors of science accredited, the whole 9 yards, and they can kind of route you to help or get you help. And so one of the things I want to share with you, Michael, is a lot of times, people ask me like, well, how can I get someone help if I know if they're going through a situation, right? Or,
Yep.
what can be the number to call? I just want to share this tonight because this is truly a place where you can get help. And, their tagline is help is here. So this is why we created, We Are Resilient here with Michael, is so if you're having these challenges, right, you can get help. Help is here. And you don't have to go through this alone. Well, you call it up, and what they do is, so as Gail explained to me, I'm going to have the podcast drops in like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You call the number, you get on a real person, live person talking to you right then and there. And then what you do is they will assess the situation through the Columbia risk model, and they can either provide help right there, or they can route you to a help place. So like if you're a veteran, they have numbers to like the VA and other veterans organizations to get help. And they're going to stay on the line with you the entire time. They're not just be like, hey, we'll see you later, go on and your way, and sin no more. They're going to stay with you, right, the whole time. And one of the things is after the call has been made, they're going to come back and reassess and make sure that you got help. So you're not just in some kind of vacuum somewhere or black hole waiting for somebody to contact you. They're going to keep after this. And the idea was behind the Mass Helpline and this number is the Commonwealth, in the prior administration, this one has decided that, hey, you know what? If we can help people when they start having problems, we won't have bigger problems later. I think that makes sense, Mike. And, it's something that I kind of want to share tonight.
It's always important too, like looking at it is like, it's easier to fix somebody before they're completely broken.
We got Mike's on mute, but we got some people coming in. Can you hear me, Mike? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm going to check to see if my mic went back.
All right. I'm going to try bringing in Scott while Mike's working on his microphone issue. Actually, no, hang on. Let me.
Can you hear me now? Test.
So we do have a guest in the waiting room.
We're going to bring him on.
There he is. Okay, I'm going to bring Scott in. Scott, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You're muted too.
I can hear him. Meadows, can you hear us?
Yep, sure can.
All right.
Why can't I hear him?
I'm not sure. The fans say they can hear him as well. So, Meadows, would you like to introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. Scott Meadows.
Let's find out. Thanks, Barbara.
In reserves. Actually, an instructor for AFC, FLC, Fort Kentucky. Been in the Army. 22 years. And still doing this thing that I enjoy.
Myself and
Come back in.
Scott, we met.
I'm not really sure what to do.
In he was my squad leader for the Warrior Transition Unit. We had a good group of guys down there. We were a zany bunch, we ended up going down there, and then some guys went home to get surgeries. Like me, I went to the CVWTU for a little while before that closed down, and I wound up back at Fort Knox. And then before I retired, they said, we're going to PCS you one more time. And they sent me to West Point for 3 days to retire me out there. So it was kind of tough because it was West Point in the middle of December with no cold weather gear because they had me turn everything in at Fort Knox. So
rough time.
Spent most of the time just sitting in the room just trying to be cool.
Oh yeah.
All right, Travis.
Absolutely.
That's good. Hello, welcome. So what we're talking about today is like how it can be like tough on guys over the holidays, the loneliness, the reinforcement of being away from families and things like that. How it's often tough that being in the service you do miss friends and families on holidays, and being away from home it can trigger people. So we want to make sure that during this time we're double checking on our buddies. We're making sure we're doing more than just the usual. That we want to double those efforts around holidays like Valentine's Day and Christmas, New Year's, because they do show that those have been higher for veteran suicide. Did I lose everybody?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I got you.
Mike?
Yep. Can you hear me? Can everybody out there hear us? We can get some thumbs up and exclamation points. Excellent, thank you. Steven says he hears us.
What about now? Can you hear me now?
Yep. And everybody else hears us. We just can't hear one another.
All right, we're good. I do not know what happened there. Yeah. So
We lost Scott.
but we're good now.
Yeah. So he was our WTU.
I'm gonna bring him back in.
He's back in.
Well, Scott, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Sorry about that. I don't know. I can hear it, so I do apologize. Um, can can you hear me?
I think next week I'm going to try doing this through Zoom. Yes.
Okay, cool.
So tell me your story.
All right. So the first, um, so I ended. Well, I think he was saying a little bit. So I was a squad leader at the WTU at Fort Dix, and he and his group of guys actually ended up coming my squad, and this was maybe probably about over 10 years ago now. I want to say, this issues, and that was our first introduction. And the one thing I used to always say is, hey, listen, I don't know what your issues are, but every day is a new day, and let's attack it that way. It's how we actually built and formed our relationship. It was off of, how do you go from being in a war zone to now taking care of your people, to coming into a WTU place where you're no longer really in charge, and someone is actually taking care of you. It had to be an adjustment, from his standpoint and the way. And I once was told that, you know, we're still all people. You never forget who you are. So outside of, felt that it was my responsibility to know each one of those people versus Sergeant so and so, Special so and so. We from there just built some trust. We're with each other even after he left the WTU. So that the Hellfish Haven.
So you're a VSO now?
I am not. I'm actually still. I'm still in. I'm in the military, and I just doing my thing. Still have a little bit more to give, I guess.
All right, here's Michael. I'm going to bring him back in.
Sorry about that. I think it was just getting stuck there. Like, are we all good with you guys?
Yeah, can hear you.
Perfect. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
So far, I'm going to switch back.
Gotcha. Good. You hear us?
I can hear you. I can hear you, Mike.
That's really weird. The audio is coming through from the stream, but not through my headphones, which is making this challenging. I'm just going to let you guys talk, Michael, while I figure this out. Okay.
Gotcha. Now, Meadows, just time spent down in the WTU, I think that would have to be the most challenging part of of seeing soldiers, when they're going through things, going through surgeries, going through forced retirement, forced separation. Is there anything that you guys did while you guys were there to make sure you were reinforcing that it was going to be all right, that there were better days ahead?
Well, almost like I was saying. and you know me, so I made it my soldiers as people, not just oh you're just a number. Let me get you in. And get, you know, that was one of those things that we always left the number. Need something, call us, and far and few between soldiers ever really reached back to to say hey sorry medical this that the other, or we send a message hey how are you doing, very sparse responses. So but then two that I've been in contact with from the moment, so I do have a lot of were my in my squad, my platoon that I still can talk to.
And even hearing from somebody like once in a while, just that phone call can make all the difference to someone. Checking in and saying, hey, how are you? Once in a while, and just knowing that there's somebody out there, thinking about you, that's caring about you, can make the world of difference. I've got guys that check in from the first tour I went on to the last. The guys that we weren't officially a team or anything down at the WTU, but we still took care of each other down there. The guys had the Soldier of the Month competition that you guys made available to them, and the different things like that were really good to keep the spirits of the soldiers up while they were going through that stuff.
Absolutely, even when you talk about that, when I remember, where it's like, hey, we have this board. Who do you think would go? And supervisors or people who were there with their guys didn't, and you changed it. You're like, hey, I know this is your thing, but I want my guy. And when you went home and got your uniform and board that lasted all of 45 minutes, spoke about everybody in the unit.
It does,
a servant leader. You prove what what a servant at that very moment, that it wasn't about you, but it was about somebody else know that you're not here alone. I'm here with you the whole time.
Yeah, and it was just trying to at that point I hadn't had my determination if I was going to have the surgery or if I was going to continue on staying in the service. I didn't know my determination at that point, but some of those guys already had their determination, already knew they were either going to get fixed or they were going to get forced out. And it was good for them to be able to have that that board to go to. And the way I always looked at it, if they're in their their dress uniform, I damn well better be in mine. So it's like it makes the soldier look better for that. Like you said, you had some of the the active soldiers that they were going against, were there in their dress uniform, but their sponsors were in ACUs. And it just, it showed, a lack of, preparation for what they were going through. And, it was good to see, everybody, come together for that event. And it's like, that's one of the few pictures that we actually have from that time at Fort Dix was, after the board was done, everybody got together for a picture. And, it was a good group of guys. And they did, sometimes they, like I won't mention any names, but there were guys that did want to just stay in their rooms the whole time, and it was like pulling teeth to say, hey, come on, we got to get you out. We're all going out to dinner. We're all just gonna get off the base for a few minutes and go bowling or something. Whatever it took to just get these guys out of their rooms. And I mean, some of them had the PlayStations hooked up and the they had the whole entertainment system, so they were good. At least they're, they're still connecting with somebody, while they're playing a game, virtually, so that they're not, just stuck, by themselves. And that's
Yeah.
what, the Havens worked on, and that's what we try to reach out to people and hope to pass on to one another is if we can find a way to reach you, we will. And that you always got to know that there's other people out there doing the same mission. Like there's I think it's mental health, like gaming. They've got a
Yeah.
great like Discord server that's online, and they literally have like a group of people that if you send them a message within 35 minutes, you'll get somebody to respond to you. So if people are in crisis, they can go there, and you don't even have to be in crisis for that point. It's it's just setting everything up and having you know the available resources to talk to somebody like Travis was saying before with the helpline is you want to be able to talk to somebody before they're completely down and out. You want to help build them back from the get-go. And like one of the things that the service is doing now is the ETS sponsor. And like I have a soldier from Plymouth, he's getting out of the service in 8 months, and they connected me with him in November and just continue to go over does he want to do college, does he want to get a job, what are his plans post service, and that's going to be what we're going to do with him is work towards those goals together, so that way it's not you're out of the army, see you later.
Yeah, exactly. Just to let people know, the military is something that we've chosen to do. And, when you go through things, that's that extra part to it. Just because we didn't join at the at the exact same moment doesn't mean I can't for you when it's all said and done. When you decide to hang it up, I think that's a lost piece that we definitely to tighten back up, letting people know that no matter, so we're still here. There's always someone you can always turn. Hey, this is where I am.
Yeah. It often does. It becomes becoming a leader. You're not just a leader for that time that you're in the service. You really do become a leader for life. And you do have these soldiers that will check in with you, and will still look up to you, as you are that person that you were in the service. And a lot of times that's tough to to keep that going and to keep doing that. Like personally, like when I was struggling with my hard times, like I had a hard time remembering who I was as that leader, and like remembering the person I was when I looked in the mirror. When I was in the shelter, I had times where I was just struggling to be who I was. And
Mm-hmm.
when you get a phone call from a friend that you served with, and you're able to reminisce a little bit, and and talk to them and lean on them, that really does help build you back up to the person that you were.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
Good. Got you.
Good.
I'm all set now. One mouse click, and you're knackered, as they say in Britain. So it's just really good to get together like this. A lot of people have been hitting up my private messengers during the week and tonight, saying it's really cool seeing this kind of talk go on. And um, I think the question I asked for both of you is, what's next for us? I mean, I think I want to think that the 22 a day is going down. I hear that's creeping back up. I mean, what can we be doing now to be more proactive?
You in my opinion, for the relationships that you do have, active listening. Don't just hear. If you know that person, you have to listen actively to those said things. To how are they responding to you? Is it outside you know, your typical norm, you and help them believe that they know that you're going to be there. That's where, we can't, we'd love to say, well, I'm going to force you to do X, Y, and Z. That's not how this, you know, but when somebody knows and believes that they're never going to be in that dark room by themselves, you know, it for both parties to have those difficult talks, to be very transparent, to say, hey, this is what I'm thinking, this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And we do. I think, there needs to be groups like this that gather together, and whether it's online like we're doing now or in person, having that opportunity to gather together and to share these moments and share conversation. I feel like that's one of the big things, is connect with others, and connecting with friends, connecting with sport groups, whether it be through a a professional facility like home base, or it's on here on whether you're viewing us on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. There are networks of people out there that are setting up these peer support groups, and like it's great to see. And like I think that's what's going to help in the end, is like having the peers know what's going on, because it's just like the company commander has so many people underneath their command that they don't know everything what's going on day to day with each person. But that squad leader, sees those guys day in and day out, and notices when that guy stops shaving for a few days and is starting to sulk around, and all of a sudden his uniform's a mess when he's always wanting to take pride in his his appearance. And they see those things, so it's really important to get the training and the situational awareness down to the lowest level that we can, so that way people know how to have the conversations with people, and people know the signs and symptoms to be able to share.
I think that's really important too, and there's a lot of people trying to help who want to help, and we need to look at every tool, and dare I say weapon, in this, that when we're trying to be there for each other and really, look at all possibilities instead of just trying to do the same thing over and over again.
I think that's where like the whole health approach comes in.
Yeah.
You get exercising comes in. Identifying and avoiding triggers. Practicing good self care. All of these things that you can do beforehand. Like you don't need to wait till the clock reaches 10 seconds left on the bomb to cut the wire.
Well, I think it all just starts with one person, right? And then now, look, we've got 3 people on here tonight, and
Mhm.
people are hitting up the chat saying, "Hey, this is a good thing." Technical issues now aside, I think we're getting better at it every week. But this is how this stuff starts and grows. And Sean, what do you want to see, for yourself when you come out of the military, when that time comes?
Well, I'd like to, for myself, I'd like to still make a difference. You know, um, Mike and I have talked. Done. He and I are gonna, you know, hopefully expand that moniker. Not to let everybody know that this is something that you can utilize. That you don't have to just be in a specific area, but the information, you can get the information. More things out here into the atmosphere, um, that and it doesn't change. You go from me being in the service, what I'm doing, to now I'm out of the service, but I'm still here. I'm still, and I haven't changed. That I'm still here. If you need me, I'm here.
I think that's one of the best things too to see, is like is the information that we have, and that we're sharing isn't just for, Boston area veterans, it's just for, veterans wherever they are. And like you said last week, Travis, we had people checking in all over the place.
Right, and
Sarah is Noah Amatucci. He was a soldier, sergeant first class now. Joined with me back in 2001 or 2000, and we both had similar careers. We both wound up going to Iraq in 2004 together. Became good buddies because we were from the neighboring towns, Franklin and Foxborough. Then we went back together again in 07, 08 to Baghdad. So it was really nice to have that, the person that had done both tours together with me, and have that person to lean on, somebody that knew what I went through on the first one to be able to talk about there on the second one. And those relationships are so important to make and to keep when you get home, Like we talked about last week, a lot of guys get, disgruntled and get fed up with the service. So they don't know what to do, and they seek to, push away everything that's military related. But in fact, that's the best time to start is, once you get out, have a little meeting here, or have, just different ways to impact your life with smaller things. So that way it doesn't all, boil up.
well, that's the whole thing, right? It's stopping smaller problems from avalanching, becoming big, huge problems, and that's to your both your point, Sean and you, Mike. It's about being able to raise that hand or reach out to that somebody, or even you know saying, "Hey, man, you doing okay? Haven't heard from you in a while," and that might be all it takes to really open up the line of communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I
Scott,
agree.
Scott. Sorry, I'm like doing 15 million things. I did not mean to do that. So it's Scott, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not perfect, so sorry about that.
I mean, another thing too is we definitely want to keep guys not like there's so much negativity out there right now. You definitely can spiral down the rabbit hole and just sit there and you watch one video and then YouTube suggests another one, and then you're sitting there and now you've watched an hour of all this negativity, and it really can depress people. And you want to make sure that guys know if you get something that happens like that, to step away, to go outside and remove yourself from the environment. That you don't want to be around all that negativity.
So the old adage is true, right? Misery loves company.
Mm-hmm.
Is there some truth to that?
There is
Definitely, yeah.
a little bit, but then the flip side, we've all been around somebody and who's just that. So how do you stop it? Be positive. You have to listen. We're all in this together. Yeah, it's you know, harbor on misery loves company. Well, that's company because I don't want to have.
Yeah, and the tough part too is you can get in the mood where you're out there kicking a rock and you're depressed, and the guy next to you, he's all fired up and piss and vinegar about something else, and then now you're fired up about what he's mad about, and he's mad about what you're mad about, and it does, that can just build like that, and it is important to have those positive people, but it also it doesn't always have to be the person that's all depressed and all emotional, moody. It can be somebody that's bright and happy, and then when they go and they get home, that's when they take their mask off and they reveal the true self that that is sad and is struggling. Because a lot of people can put on a good face when they're out and about in public, and then go home and they're suffering in silence.
That whole suffering silence thing, I mean, it it only works for a little while, and then eventually you just can't keep the mask on. I don't care how good you are.
It's true. It's it's just it's tough to to keep going with that, and and to put the show on. I mean, there were guys that again at the WTU that you saw from the minute they got there they're angry about everything,
Yeah.
and there were other guys that that just let it fester, and then would randomly blow up, and it's like you'd be like, hey, what's up with this guy, and it's like he's not usually like this, and we come to find out, and he didn't get approved for leave, or something happened back home, and it's like that's why it's so important to have these small conversations and to engage with these people, as often as you can in order to to know what's going on in their lives. To like, I feel like I repeat it and say that you don't want to just spiral out and to stop it when it's small, but it is so important to engage and and to to have those tough conversations and say let's take on what you're facing now.
Absolutely.
What I face now sometimes is, people approach me with problems, and I try to tell them, hey, you need help. I can't really help you. You've got to help. Or they approach me with problems, and I'm like, well, you don't have any kind of plan to get out of this. Are we just, having a gripe session, or are we actually going to try doing something about the problem? And it can be hard to understand the difference between the two of them sometimes.
Like to be able to like take somebody and let them know what what's available versus actually bringing somebody into care. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, hey, I got a problem. I don't like where I am. I don't know what to do, or I just want to move, or I just want to, go somewhere else, or I just want to do something different. And I'm like, well, okay, you're going to have to figure out where you want to go and how you want to get there and what's going to take. Well, I don't want to do that. I just want to, up and leave. I'm like, well, it doesn't work that way. Or, some, and I kind of know the answer to this, but when someone's really in distress, that's where this mass helpline will help out, because I can say, hey, we can call this number right now and get a professional line for you. Because I don't know about you all, but a lot of people are still not comfortable going right to the VA if they're having a problem.
It is tough because there's a stigma there too, and like a lot of people worry what they say and what the reaction from the VA will be. I went into the VA. I had a blood infection at the beginning of November. My hand was swollen, and like it was gonna be the first night that I had away from my daughter since she had been born, and I was really antsy about it, and I was pacing around, and their response was to think that I was on drugs, and I'm like, I'm just I'm got this giant hand that's 3 times its normal size, and I don't know what's going on, and I'm away from my daughter for the first time since she's been born, so I was emotional about it, and and they go ahead and want to accuse us of doing things, so it's really difficult at times to be able to trust the institution when things like that are happening.
I don't know what the right answer is, but I have met some fantastic people at the VA. Some people who put a lot of effort into getting me, uh, walking again, literally. So I'm really thankful and grateful for that. Um, and there's some times where, okay, I got to swallow some pride and say, hey, I can't do that anymore. I need some help. And I don't know, man. Guys, that is a tough thing to say, is I need some help. Why does it feel like I'm a failure when I say I need some help?
Well, people have been to think that you know, it's easier to well, I can you know tap on, beat on my chest. I instead of I don't have this. It's a lot harder to, I guess, you know, and
What do you think, Michael?
Even like you said, I feel like they're also asking more questions about it these days. Like when I recently went into primary care, they were asking more questions about what were my exposures and how is my mental health, and not just asking the general question, but really the follow ups. Are you doing okay with it? Do you feel like you're gonna hurt yourself? Do you have a plan? Not just are you okay? They ask follow up questions to make sure that if I did have something going on, that I had the tools to work with it, or they would be able to provide them to me if I needed them. So that was good to see more questioning and more care coming from the staff there. That's definitely encouraging. As a patient and as a veteran to see the doctors taking more of an interest in the mental health aspect, not just checking out your lungs, your head, your legs. That they're doing that aspect too of the emotional care.
I really think it's what you said earlier, Michael. It's about taking care of the whole body. It's the whole body that has to be taken care of. Are you trying to eat right? And sometimes getting good food is hard. Are you getting enough sleep? Well, none of us sleep the same since we joined the military, right? That's kind of out the window, but at least to try, and then have this willingness to say, okay, stuff's not going very good right now. I need some help, and it's just been a real education for me in the last couple of years.
and and that's what it's I like your verbiage. It's learn from past years, past issues, and but keep them each event accordingly.
Yeah, yeah. So we are resilient. We are here. It's a very exciting time. Um, one of the things that I'd like to share with you both is I wrote letters to my congressman about this Army PFC that died in Germany under suspicious circumstances. It was really interesting because I posted the letter in the post to show people that I actually did it. Here it is if you want to use it. And I was really surprised by how many people, reached out and said, "Hey, we want to write a letter too," or "This is how you write a letter." And I think this is why I kind of like this whole thing right here is that it's just real people showing how you can, you know, take some time and start making change right where you are. And I think it's nice to get all moto and get all like, guns blazing, so on and so forth. But sometimes it's just as simple as putting the stamp on an envelope and putting in the mailbox.
And that's like one of the things that we posted this week too was on Valentine's Day we said, hey, if you got a service member or a veteran that is having a tough time, we'll send out a couple stickers to them, just something to say, hey, someone's thinking of you, keep on going on, and we've got the You Matter cards that go out, and it's a simple little index card that that just says You Matter on it, and it really does, when you walk up to somebody and you just give them a card, it really surprises them, and they walk away. Sometimes they'll just throw it away. Other times they'll look at it and they'll keep that card and say somebody thought about me today. And that's all it takes sometimes.
Now, Michael, that's a card I can get behind. Not going to CVS and spending $15 on a card for I don't have a girlfriend or wife, but $15 for a car that's going to be seen a couple times and thrown away. That's a car I can get behind. You matter.
Yeah.
Craig Chapman says, there you go, make change, F the stigma. I like that too. Maybe we should put that as a hashtag, Michael, F the stigma.
I'm down.
All right. So, hey, how was, you're married, right? How was Valentine's? We got like 10 minutes left, or, actually like 8 minutes, but how was Valentine's Day for you? Happily married man.
We just had a simple evening. We got the 1-year-old right now, so everything really revolves around her. So once she was ready to go down for the night, we did a little Uber Eats, had some Chipotle.
Nice. Well, that's the best part about it, right? You got a young child. You guys are pulled in a lot of different directions, but you still. I think the thing that I like the most is you made time for each other last night, man. It's really important.
Yeah. And then we got the time that once the baby did go down, to just sit on the couch and relax and have that time to share together. And I feel that's important. Whether I see too many people that come home, kick off their shoes, and one person's on one couch, one person's on the other couch, and they're just sitting there all looking at their phones the whole night. Sometimes it's nice to take the phones, put them away, and just enjoy what's in front of you for the moment. Because
Absolutely.
too many times people do engage in their phones, and they just get stuck in that virtual world. And it's okay to take a break from that, and enjoy a movie, or even if you watch a stupid film you've seen a million times, that can brighten your day or change your spirits just as well as doing something online.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I don't know. So what are you thinking for next week?
Um,
I want to. I have this idea. I'll put it out there to both of you to talk about nonprofits for a week or two, because there's so many of them out there. I get asked a lot of times, which one should I donate to? I mean, we should definitely support yours, Michael. Absolutely, but it's a valid question, right?
it is, and it's tough to understand what each organization is doing, and one that we work with and do a lot with is the Special Planning Foundation, and we do work uh, New Englanders helping our veterans, and we work with Hidden Battles Foundation. If you guys have an organization, throw up the link in the chat. Be able to share it with other guys. I know Craig's got his that he works for. That's doing a lot of great work down in Southeast Mass and Rhode Island. And I definitely think that we could, take a deep dive into those, and share what guys are doing and where they're at. Like, following this, if you go on AM, I think it's 980 WCAP, Hidden Battles Foundation, they have a radio show that they do from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And they broadcast on, AM radio, and they talk about, things that, caused Hidden Battles Foundation to be founded, where it's first responders and veterans dealing with suicide and mental health issues.
Awesome, awesome. Well, again, hey, it's Michael Gary, Army veteran, Army Sergeant First Class of Hellfish Haven. I'm Travis, Marine Corps veteran. With Oscar Mike Radio, we got Scott Meadows, still serving. Scott, thanks for hanging in there with us tonight. Love to have you back. And this is a space that we're doing, seeing how this goes, bumps and all, to be there for each other. And I just so any last words before we close down, gents?
Thank you,
Too
Greg, for,
prideful to ask for help. Yeah, prideful. If you need the help, trust. Find somebody that will to you. You don't have to explain that they know to help you help.
Awesome, Michael.
Yeah, like you're saying, encouraging, help-seeking behavior, promote, people to, to go see somebody, to talk to somebody, address the stigma that is associated with seeking, mental health, and let people know that the help is out there, and it's not as hard to get to and to be able to talk to someone, and like we always mention, you don't have to wait till you're, you know, in the shit so bad that you can't get out. If you've got a small problem and you got something going on, feel free to reach out. We're all here. We all these nonprofits, we're here to work with the veterans, to work with their families, to work with the caregivers, to let them know that they have an outlet to go to. We do have our ears to listen, and if we don't know something, we're definitely going to find somebody who does and be able to get you the right resource that you need to help. So, don't wait till it boils over. Talk to somebody, whenever something arises.
Absolutely. So again, this is like our fourth time doing this, almost a month. We're gonna be doing this, for a while. We'll see you next week. Michael, thanks for, again for your, candor and counsel, brother.
Thank you. And like Greg said, there's the best way to deal with it. Talk early and often. There's lots of help out there.
All
Thank
right.
you, everybody, for joining us tonight. It's a pleasure to, have everybody out there, jumping in, sending messages. I'm not good at replying real, quick while I'm doing this. I'm easier to talk, but I definitely enjoy, having people, comment and, and share the different stories with us. It makes us, it feels good to know that somebody's out there listening.
Absolutely. We'll see you next week, and thank you again. Good night.
All right.